Hello and welcome back. Now, today it's finally time to change the headers. Now I mentioned before I was going to get some new headers, and well, guess what? I did. Now I went with the Summit brand this time. I've done that in the past with Summit, and well, it seemed to work out pretty well with fitment and all that good stuff. Now last time I did that, I actually just used the smaller primary tubes like what I'm running now. But this time, I stepped it up to 1 5/8". Now these are specifically for trucks, specifically this body style. And unfortunately there's only one review, but it's for an 83, and they said it fit perfect. And they didn't have to do anything, and they installed with ease. So I'm hoping I get the same results. I'm also getting rid of the X-pipe, especially since I can really tell and hear the raspiness of the X-pipe. So I'm actually going to an H-pipe for several reasons. One is the sound. Obviously the sound should be deeper and more iconic of the old school traditional V8. And fitment, because an H-pipe is just so much easier to fit somewhere. And I'm sure you probably are thinking, well, how are you going to fit an H-pipe with a stock Crossmember under the truck? I took care of that, and well, there was a little clip. I was going to film a video and try the car headers again, and I did install a new Crossmember. So let me show you that real quick. Now, back when I first started building these trucks, there wasn't really a lot of aftermarket. There wasn't really any aftermarket for them except for the engine transmission, because that was GM and the rear end. So aftermarket body panels, except for hoods or something simple, well, you can find them all day long. Well, finding something like this was really impossible, because I looked before. Pretty much you had to go find a factory double hump Crossmember. So it didn't really occur to cross my mind to check for this, and you already see what it is. But I'm pretty sure, stickers, that this will work. This is pretty lightweight. A couple chips in it already from obviously nothing really in there holding it. But this should work. I thought it was more of an arch than what it is, a bit more angled. But hopefully that gives me the clearance I need. Now, with that Crossmember under there, I should have tons of room, and it looks like I will. Plenty of room to clear exhaust, get my exhaust kind of tucked up a little bit. Plenty of room for an H-pipe. And from the looks of these truck headers, they do tuck up a little bit higher than these truck headers, which will be great, and that transmission Crossmember should work wonders. Here's the headers. Obviously the old ones, the new ones, and the cars. Now you can see the design difference, kind of. It's still the plastic, but it dips in a little bit here, about where the oil filter is. This one was kind of close. It looks like I'm gonna get more room out of this. Still, it's kind of got that sweep motion, so I should be able to clear that little control arm bolt just fine with those. I like those, they just came straight down. So even though these are tucked up a little bit, it should fit perfect from the looks of it. And it looks like I'm gonna have more spark plug clearance from the way these tubes will actually come up like this and over. Alright, so I'm already on the driver's side, or the passenger side. And from my understanding is people say they had no issues getting them in. They're not fitting. So that's a bit disappointing. Now I'm not sure what to do. Because as soon as I try to get this where it should be, I'm on the frame there, I can't get it in anymore. I can't get it close enough to even pry it yet. I only got one bolt started, and the headers are still at an angle, so I really can't get any of them started properly. So I'm not sure what to do here. I don't want to dent the header in. I really don't. I don't want to put the other headers back on. So, of course, go figure. Like I said, the mixer gasket slides right into place. Now I have plenty of clearance. Not much I can do about that. But I am using my brand new stainless steel bolts I bought for those headers, because I'm not going to return those, and use that on there. Alright, so now obviously I have plenty of exhaust pipe. I'm using mold mufflers, still have a little bit pipe left on them, and thing is, I like the way they sound, keeping those. But now here in this box is something new. Now this I think is going to sound way better than the X-pipe, create a lot more room, and going to be a lot easier to install than the X-pipe. Now this is Summit Racing's H-pipe kit. Supposedly you can clamp it together. We're going to weld it. So here's what we got. Clamps, 2 T's that are flared on all 3 sides, so the pipes slip on all 3 sides real easy. You have a U-shaped bend just in case you got to get on the tail shaft or clear a drive shaft or something. Or the straight one. And the great thing about this is you can literally, if you already got a pre-existing exhaust, you can just cut, slide that on, and then put this in, cut it where it needs to be, put the other one on, and then weld it all together. And like I said, if you need to do something like that, you can. So that's going to go. Should have plenty to work with here. Got brand new header reducers because the other ones were junk. So get those bolted on. Start laying this out. I'm going to try to start tucking it up a little bit. We'll see what I get when I get there and see how it turns out. Alright, so I got the H-pipe in place. I got it just about centered right where I want it. The H goes under the tail shaft, far enough away from the crossover is far enough away from the transmission I don't have to worry about it. I got it at a slight angle, so it's going to be easier to go over the axle in the back, but also so it kind of stays tucked in and hidden. You're still going to be able to see that part of the header hanging down right there. Nothing I can do about that. But honestly, this is so much easier than the X-pipe. So much more room. So much more clearance around the transmission. So what I'm going to do here, figure out how I want to go with the muffler and more extension. See how far I go and where to go from there. Well, I was put on the exhaust, and as you can see, it split. Just my luck. Alright, so got that header welded up the best I could where it cracked out. It's still making a noise because it's not fully sealed, but I think I figured out the option is to send the headers back that I already bought. Now, they were made in Mexico. I should have known better. But I've actually had good luck out of Summit Racing and brand headers before. And I'm still not 100% sure if it's my frame or the headers or a combination. And it may be a combination, but they sell a set of ceramic coated headers just like these Mr. gaskets that are 1.5 inch primary, shaped exactly the same, so I'm exchanging for those. They're cheaper, I'll get a little bit back, and if they don't fit on this, well, they'll either go on the other truck, or if they fit on these headers will go on the other truck, and while I got those off, I'll take them down to the shop, fully TIG weld that crack up and melt all the MIG wire in it, and hopefully it'll seal up. But I think I got my axle over figured out right here. Been playing around with it, and from the looks of it, this clears, and then I just need a little angle and this, and I should be pretty close to getting the tailpipes on. Back here, try to get the exhaust out like I want with the tips. Now, I'm using these vibrant. I got the driver's side. See, I got them, and they're just tilted down just a little bit. Just what I wanted. All the pipe is painted black. Unfortunately, I had to get one pipe that was bent a little, not mandrel bent, basically, because nowhere in town has nice mandrel bent. I always have to order them. I got the exhaust pipe all painted black. Cooling the muffler that way, well, it's not really noticeable. And then there's that. So now to finish the other side. Alright, so we got a little noise right there, but I can only do so much with that now. It's kind of a little bit more mellower until you get to certain areas. Definitely quieter inside the truck, which I like, but it still sounds somewhat aggressive back here. That is condensation. I've already checked. And I'm fully aware it's not perfect by any means, but I only use pre-bent tubing and a Sawzall, and I was able to get the exhaust up high enough thanks to that new transmission Crossmember, which worked out great. Alright, so a work truck sounding a lot better to me. I like the way it sounds. It's just completely different exhaust sound. I prefer this a lot better. It's kind of got an old school growl sound to it. I'm digging it. There's really no drone inside, which is great now. Because before, the turndowns were right basically at the bumper. So they still kind of echoed under the truck a little bit. And you can still kind of hear it. It sounded loud. Now, this thing sounds a lot better. It's an incredible difference. I'm enjoying it. Now, this thing is probably still running at, I don't know, 50, 60%, maybe 70%. Ever since I changed the gears, well, I needed just to vacuum secondaries on the carburetor and the transmission shift points a little bit. Other than that, this thing is running great with those gears. It just needs some fine tuning now. And before I do that though, it's been ages since this thing's had a tune-up. In fact, whenever I had this thing was down because of the rear end and the issues I had with it, well, the ignition module went out. So, put a new high-performance ignition module in it, which led me to think, okay, I think even though the plugs still look fairly new, the plug wires seem fine, the coil and the cap and rotor seem fine, it's been about 5 years, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that, change those out, get it fully tuned up, then set the carburetor and just fine-tune the shift points on that transmission. The only other issue I have, well, with performance-wise anyway, other than lack of performance, because I don't think I can get any more out of that engine that I have in there right now, is the wheel hop issue, which kind of frustrating. I talked to a chassis guy who does a lot of chassis work on, well, roundy rounders and how they get their suspension to set up and grab and stay and all that good stuff. So he's telling me ways to probably try to help the wheel hop. Not a straight line guy, but still suspension is suspension. So got a couple ideas I can do on a budget to get that thing to stop wheel hopping. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on the work truck. As always, thanks for watching.